Hey, I'm Ian Baker, and we are going to go through the GE 13500 BTU roof-mounted AC. Excuse me, I'm going to talk to you about some basic instruction on how it operates. Then we'll go through a few troubleshooting tips as well. So, let's start off with our wall-mounted thermostat here, and just so I can kind of walk you through it. You'll notice a couple different things. You basically have 4 buttons. You'll see the top left one says mode. We currently are on cool, which shows a snowflake. That means that your compressor is running and that it will cool it down in here. If you hit it again, it'll go over to furnace. One more, of course, will be off. And then if you want to run just the fan, we can do that too. Now, you'll also see right here, you have a mode to adjust the speed of the fan, so you get some controls there. I'm going to turn it back into cool. Once cool is on, you will see right here is your temp. So on the right, you have 2 buttons that will allow you to adjust your temperature. Now, quick note on the temperature, folks, you can only have about a 20-degree split between what it is outside versus inside. So if it's 90 degrees, the manufacturer says you can only get it down to about 70 in here. If you try to get it lower than that, the compressor is going to run too long, it can freeze up, and then you'll be in a world of hurt. You can technically get a bigger split than that, and the way to do that is start your AC early in the morning when it doesn't have to work too hard. Get it nice and cool in here. It'll be easier for it to keep up that temperature than if it's already 90 degrees in here and you're trying to drop it down. That is one of the biggest mistakes people make, is they wait too long to turn on the AC and then they're trying to catch up to that heat, trying to beat that heat, and that's a tough thing for an AC unit to do. So we have that running right now. Let's move forward a little bit. So currently, the way I have this this GE unit is it is blowing through the vents, right? Because this is a fully ducted unit, and so you can feel it through the vents. Now you'll see your main box is right here, your air intake and everything, as well as the AC unit. This one has a quick dump feature, so when you're loading or unloading, if you needed to cool it off real quick, you can open that up. And as you can see, it works pretty well. But then after you kind of cool things off in here a little bit, you can close that back out, and then again, it will go through the ducts. So I'm going to turn this off just a moment to talk to you about some quick troubleshooting tips. So first thing, if your AC won't turn on at all, the number one thing I always like to do is check power, right? You have to have 120 volt to run this. It's not going to run off your battery. So in most circumstances, depending on, there's some configurations to do it, but most of them, pretty much all of them, you'll have to have 120 volt to run this. So that'll either be shore power or a generator, right? And so if it's not running, those are the first 2 things I'm going to check, is the power coming in. Make sure that, it didn't trip a breaker and it's good at the post and everything else. Another thing I want to talk about is the filter, right? So this one does have a filter right here. To access that, you have these kind of push tabs. You're just going to push in on those like so, and then that should allow you to take that off, and you will see this filter right here. Now, obviously, this one is very clean because it's a brand new unit, but this will get dirty, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to wash this out. Maybe a little bit of soap in there, right? A little bit of soapy water, but just water, honestly, will probably do the trick. Don't use anything abrasive or any kind of chemicals. You definitely don't want that running through the AC system. But before you put it back, you have to make sure it dries out completely, right? Wring it out, let it sit for a bit, let it sit in the sun, whatever, dry out, and then you can put it back in, but you do want to make sure that's clean. A, for proper operation of the AC, B, so, it's clean coming in, and then also, otherwise, you'll get a bunch of black streaks, right? If it's blowing out a bunch of dirty air, and that's not something else you want to happen. Another thing you want to do for basic maintenance and troubleshooting if you're having issues is get up on the roof. Believe it or not, the unit up on top of the roof, a lot of birds like to make nests in there, and so you want to get up there and make sure that's not happening, because obviously that can cause all sorts of issues. But that's going to kind of be the basics, folks. Again, turn this bad boy on, have 120, you'll be nice and cool.